I'm here with John Harrison. He's the Assistant Scoutmaster who's going to be in charge of this project. We're requesting the use of the Torrance County Park from April 20th to the 22nd. That's a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. We're expecting 300 to 500 scouts. The ratio of adults will be 1 adult per 10 at least. There will be trained medical personnel coming with the scouts. The scouts will provide the county with a certificate of insurance. The county is not liable for anything that happens with the scouts, as always. We've done this in the past. We've never had any issues. The scouts always leave the park in better shape than when they came. I've gone over the fire evacuation plan with the fire marshal already, so he's approved that. And what I'd like to do now is turn it over to John Mearson and let him answer the questions that I'm not aware of.
Thanks. I appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for considering the request. The details of the event are that we will, scouts will arrive at 6 o'clock Friday night, camp Friday night. The main part of the event will be Saturday. Some scouts will come up Saturday, some scouts will leave Saturday. We'll have a some sort of campfire, whether or not it has an actual fire in it, depends on the burn restrictions. That'll be Saturday night, and that'll conclude the formal event. And then some people will stay over Sunday night or Saturday night and then leave Sunday morning, and we'll be out. The scouts are requested to be gone by 10 in the morning, and the staff will be gone by noon. And if there are any questions about the content of the event, I'd be happy to answer.
Well, I will begin. Mr. Mearson, thank you for being here. I'm excited to know that many youth will be in our county and that the Boy Scouts are going to be here and have a presence here. I know that the Juvenile Justice Board is going to be receiving a presentation from the Boy Scouts as well, so it's exciting to see how much can be done in our county and the fact that you're going to have all of these students here, so I really welcome that. So, any questions from the table or comments?
I have none. Thank you.
Thank you. So at this time, is there a motion for approval to allow the Boy Scouts of America to use the Torrance County Park?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great event.
Thank you.
We will now move to item number 4, Resolution 2012-07, Reporting Policy. Okay, who would like to introduce this?
Madam Chair, at this point, I think there's still some questions that may be looked at, and I request make a motion that we table this.
Thank you, Commissioner. There is a request on the table to table this particular item. Is there support from the table?
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. This has now been tabled.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir?
do you take public comment on the resolution?
What is the pleasure of the commission?
Not this time, it's tabled.
I would like to hear your comments, but it is something that we have to agree on together at the table. So if we don't agree on that, I can certainly meet with you after the meeting and you can express your concerns to me if you'd like.
Okay, I understand. I only heard one vote, though.
Okay, just a moment. Dennis, I don't really know because this isn't like an action item for me to take a vote, so if you could give me direction.
Well, it's actually been tabled. I don't know if you voted on the motion to table, but if you voted on it, it's been tabled, so it wouldn't be appropriate to take any further action.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Did we
I don't
vote?
mean a motion on whether to
Okay.
table,
Thank you.
but Commissioner Freiberger said he didn't want to hear public comment because it was tabled. He's the only commission member who I heard say that he didn't want to hear what I had to say. I heard you say that you did, and I appreciate that, but we haven't heard from the third commissioner.
Sir, being that it's already been tabled, there is no more discussion.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, we will now go to item number 5, Resolution 2012-08, Sign Maintenance and Retroactivity.
Madam Chair, you'll see in your packet there is not the policy and the resolution are not in your packet. And the reason for that is because we were waiting on some decision from the state as to whether they were going to allow us the access to a reflectometer to do this actual studies. We did find out just a couple days ago that we do not have access to the state's reflectometer, but we are exploring other avenues as to whether we can rent one or lease one or how to move forward, because I believe that we still feel, we being staff still feel that using an actual reflectometer would be a more technologically advanced way of checking the retroreflectivity of the signs rather than the other version that's acceptable. So I would ask that this just remain tabled.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to continue to table item number 5?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We will now go to item number 6, Planning and Zoning Board Policy Modifications.
Madam Chair, this is the Torrance County Planning and Zoning Policy that was adopted by the Commission on July 22nd, 2009. And the Commission at the last meeting did express some interest in reviewing this policy as well as the members. So that is why this item is on the agenda.
Okay, thank you. We're now at the table. Commissioner Freiberger, would you like to begin?
Madam Chair, my concern was I've had constituents call and ask how come each district's not equally represented. And so I would like to see that that each one of the districts has equal representation on it.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Tapia?
This was my concern a year ago, when we put into place the other board members that were, those spots that were needing to be filled. I felt at that time that 2 spots per district was the right way to go, and so for me, if that's the verbiage that needs to be changed on the bottom, and I don't know, for those that don't have it out there, it says appointments to the extent possible that Torrance County Commission shall attempt to appoint interested members from 6 different areas of Torrance County in the effort to protect the interest of the entire county. So for me, the easiest way to do that would be to appoint 2 people from each district. Does that go into that those 2 people represent my feelings on that district? No. I have nothing to do as the district 2. They're just there to represent that district. And then this way, you don't have 4 from one district and 1 from one and 1 from the other. It's just an even playing field. So that was a concern of mine a year ago.
Okay, I completely understand where both of you are coming from on this matter. This is one of the reasons why this was important to me when I came into office as well, because there were no term limits on that board, and there was no representation, really not a lot of representation from my district at that time. So I share your concern in that respect. There has been some discussion in regards to actually what each person would bring to the table, as far as at one point there was people that represented different fields of interest, whether it was water or different things like that. So I think we just need to make a decision that how we're going to go about these appointments. Do we want to just, you get to come to the table with 2 appointments, I get to come and you get to come? Is that where we're hoping to go with this?
No, I think we need to put an ad in the newspaper like we do, and there's people that will have that passion to do something for their community that will then come before us. And if, say, in my district, there's one person that actually looks at the newspaper and looks at the ad and comes to us, then we would hear their reasons for wanting to be on the board. And then if, as a commissioner, we needed to find somebody else that would be able to fill the responsibilities that are asked of them, then that would be the only play as a commissioner to help somebody. But we put the ad in the newspaper just like we always do, and depending on where they're from, then that's how we do it. That's just my suggestion.
Okay, Commissioner Freiberger?
I'm more inclined to, if we're going to do that, then we may advertise for those specific areas. but I'm more inclined to want to appoint 2 people from each district.
Okay, so rather than, so let's say we advertise like Commissioner Tapia has requested, and then once those people have applied, you want to look at who applied from your district and then be able to appoint?
Well, if we advertise, then are we going to exclude them if we have a real good potential and they're not from the right district?
I get it. Well, then that's where you're getting the 2 people from each district. So you're saying that you just want to bring to the table 2 names.
Yes, or 3 names. And then we interview them and then pick the 2 names, or if it's 1 name from the district that needs to be filled, whatever it may be.
I think it's more fair across the board to give everybody in the county an opportunity to come to the table.
Madam Chair, will you take comment?
Let us continue our discussion at the table first, and then at that time we'll take comment.
Thank you.
Well, I really feel that as commissioners, that's one thing that we are able to do is make appointments. So, you know, I understand where you're coming from, and I see you wanting to be fair across the board. But if we advertise countywide, then we're going to get applicants from throughout the county. So if we get an applicant that's not from one of your particular districts or my district,
That would just be a pool.
okay, so
And
are
then-
you going to
and
only
then-
pull names that are in your district?
No. If say we put the advertisement out there,
Okay,
and I have 5 people that show up that want to be in my district. So those 5 people then would come and present why they want to be there, and then we would then be able to pick 2 out of that 5. Now, say 1 person showed up in your district that came from the newspaper, then you would be able to go out and find somebody else who you would feel like could represent that board well, and then we would have to agree with that. You see what I'm saying? So we're kind of doing both, is what I'm saying.
But what if you have none? What if everybody's from my district?
Then then it's up to that district to then go find 2 people.
I would rather bring, say, 3 people for 2 positions out of the districts. Right now, we're only looking at replacing 2 that are on the board. And I would rather, say, bring 2 people in and they present from District 1 why they want to be on the commission, and the commission appoint 1 out of the 2. But I would rather have the appointment than take a shotgun approach.
Well, the only thing with doing it that way is that then it doesn't look like you're picking people from your district because you want them sitting there. And that's, I'm trying to.
That's
I'm
exactly
trying
what
to
I
be-
want them.
Well, I'm trying to be open to letting whoever has that passion and feels like they can stand and do the job of the planning and zoning board. Because there's some really great people out there, and to give them an opportunity, not just because, I might not know that many people. So it might be hard for, say, me to go find somebody. Where this way, we're gonna pull from both ways. You have a comment?
You answered my question. I was just gonna ask if you didn't have 2 potential candidates apply from the newspaper ad, then what would you do from a specific
Then it
district?
would be that district commissioner's job to go find somebody.
Thank you.
I'm going to put the ad in the paper and have them come to interview as to where they live. If we have people coming from one district, then we need to specifically look at the district that was left out.
And then it's up to that commissioner to then go find somebody who's capable of sitting on planning and zoning. But I think doing it the other way, we're at least giving the opportunity to those who want to come and sit on our planning and zoning. And then the end result is that the 3 of us still have to agree on that person.
And really, I mean, if you have two candidates in mind, all you would have to do is ask them to please respond to the ad.
Right.
You know, then they would come forward to, you know, like the interview process like that was done last time.
You bet.
But then everybody's expected to do the same thing. And this way,
Agreed.
it's not favoritism that's, you know, you want two people and I want two people and then we got our two people in there. I want to eliminate the talk that's going to happen on the outside if we take that approach.
Okay. Now, I do think that items 6 and 7 are two totally different items, so I don't want to take comment on item number 7, but I will take comment on item number 6 for 2 minutes. Anyone that wants to come forward and talk about item number 6, now would be the time to do so.
Item number 6 is reflecting the
Item number 6 pertains just to the policy modifications.
My name is Torrance. I'm the Planning and Zoning and Code Enforcement Officer for Mountain Air. And just a comment concerning the representation. Obviously, planning and zoning is a big deal. It's real important. Nobody knows what it's like in my district as well as the people who live in that area. So to me, I think that it would be almost imperative that we have someone to help with the Planning and Zoning Commission be a part from our area. So what I would recommend and ask for is that we be allowed to bring representation from our district to assist with planning and zoning. Now, I hear you about it's difficult to get people of quality and just people in general to participate. But you know what? That's our responsibility. That's our district to look out for us. So let's put that on us and say, if we're going to have representation, then we got to perform. We got to do our job. So, and if we don't, then it's on us and not on the commission or the county to make sure that it happens. So what I would ask is that you allow us to participate in a way that is beneficial to us as well as to the county. Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Romero.
So, Mr. Romero, are you saying that you agree that there should be representation from every district?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I absolutely think that's important.
Okay.
I know it's hard. You know, it's difficult to get people to participate, to drive and be a part of the meetings and all, but you know what? You want things done, you got to participate. You have a responsibility to your community, to your fellow neighbors, and if you don't feel it, then you don't get it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Joy, could you just explain the process as this particular policy is amended, what the time frame would be to amend it, and if there was any public meetings that had to happen, and how we would go forth if we chose to go forward?
Madam Chair, I don't believe there's any public meeting requirements. This is a policy that the commission developed for a board who is an advisory board to the commission, so it's at your pleasure to amend this policy. If you amend it today, contingent on language, then Steve and I will go back and work out the language, get it approved by legal, and it will be in effect immediately.
Okay. That kind of leads me to my next question as far as when this would take effect, because I see the importance of having representation throughout the county, but also I do feel like we do have people that are currently serving under a term, and I don't think that we should amend something in the middle of their term or maybe make it effective when maybe we have two people term out, then introduce this policy then. But again, that's, just where I'm coming from, so why don't we discuss that?
I feel that we should go ahead and make the appointments. Two people coming in would start their 2-year term. I think it's unbalanced now. And another 6 months, 4 months, ever how long it is. To me, that time period is, I believe it should be as soon as possible.
Well, I disagree with that, Commissioner Tapia.
believe that if we're going to take that approach and are we taking off the two that we just put on? What are we doing? Which ones, who's gonna be left out, in 4 months? Just so that we're clear.
Steve, would you come up and work with us on these?
If you'll look at this chart here.
I'm looking at it,
In
Steve.
the fiscal year 2012, 2013, which is coming up here in June, our 2 3-year board members, Douglas Mills and Johnny Romero, have the option to begin their second 3-year term. In the 2-year term category, Jason Quintana and Edwina Hewitt have the option to begin their second terms. They're the only ones that are currently at the term limit.
So with knowing that, for me, being that Ms. Hewitt is running, at what point then, Mr. Wallen, can you clarify on at what point now that she's running, does she need to remove herself from the board, or she can remain until after the primaries? How is that?
Both of them are running.
All right. All right.
Oh, we have 2 members?
Yes,
running?
Jason Quintana and.
Oh, okay, that's right. You know, it's really at their option. If they sit as a board member on a planning and zoning matter, on the P&Z board, and they hear a case, and then they're subsequently elected, then they more than likely will need to recuse themselves from hearing it as a commission. But there is no black and white requirement that they have to absolutely, resign at a specific time. We had this come up before with Commissioner Freiberger, and he stated that once, I guess you didn't have opposition in the general election, is that
No,
right?
it did not.
So once it became obvious that he was going to become a commissioner, at that point you resigned from the board. So it's really an individual matter. My recommendation would obviously be that they resign to avoid any conflict, because having a 3-member county commission, if we have one person that has to recuse themselves, obviously puts this thing on a potential logjam or loggerhead. So that would be my recommendation to them, but that's, once again, that's a personal decision that they've got to make. You guys have to excuse me, it sounds like Joy and I've got the same, I've got that allergy situation going on.
Well, with that being said, I would just, I would make that request to then Mr. Quintana and Ms. Hewitt that they would then resign themselves off of the board. Then that way we would then do our due diligence to find somebody to replace them. And then, for the next 4 months, then they're busy, working and campaigning. That would be my recommendation. And then this way, we're doing what we need to do to keep the planning and zoning board together, doing their job, and we're able to do ours.
And I think the alternative to that would be to amend the terms under the policy and just change the terms of office. And that kind of goes back to recreate what I know Steve and the board worked hard to try to get set up at some point in time, but that would be the alternative.
Okay, my comment on that is when Commissioner Freiberger was on the Planning and Zoning Board, and he was running for office, I didn't feel like he should have to step out of planning and zoning in order to run for office, and I'm going to continue to maintain that. If you're currently serving and you want to work to continue serving as an elected official, I don't think that you should be, not really punished, but I don't think that should be the consequence of wanting to continue to serve in a higher capacity. So I would not support that. So I think that we need to deal with item number 6 on the policy modifications, but it is kind of running into item number 7 as well. So I think that we should take some public comment, and I think we've all kind of said where we stand on the issue, and I will have to call for motions, but prior to that, I would like the public to go ahead and comment for 2 minutes. Pat?
My name is Pat Lincoln. I have really a clarifying question and then one comment, because I did serve on planning and zoning for a long time, and it's near and dear to my heart, and I think it's really vital to the county that it remain a non-politicized advisory board, because really the decisions that are made by planning and zoning should be made in accordance with the zoning ordinances and subdivision rules and a comprehensive land development policy, so that everyone has a fair and level field and knows the rules before they come to the board. So I definitely think that your idea of advertising is a very good idea, because it then maintains that independence. My clarifying question is, though, when you advertise, if you are looking for representatives from a specific district, then is that the way your advertisement is going to read? If you know that you need people from District 1 and District 2 to balance out a board, then is that specifically what you're advertising?
I would say yes.
I would say yes.
Thank you. Who would like to be next?